around you, silence, pain, sorrow, misery, engrossed in many people's lives. As they take that walk, they look down, not because they are ashamed, but because of the pain. Which way do I go? How did I get myself into this? Did I choose, or was it chosen for me? Some people have ended up in marriages and relationships they didn't choose. It was placed upon them. A debt needed to be paid, or a culture or a religion that frowned upon them being alone. So some old person was imposed upon their life. Another, a family had a debt to pay, and debt collector said, I want that one. Family says no, debt collector says, or else I take everything else. One has to take one for the team. So, chosen, placed, enduring all manner of things. Another was lured by their friends, and you're told, hey, I found this ABCD. They go into a party turns into them witnessing things that should never have witnessed. Now they are told, you are forever going to be on my end, because if you ever speak, you saw what you saw, you're next on the plate. And so many are quiet. They stand up in rooms, they give the best speeches. They stand up in rooms, they inspire many. But when they go, so much is hidden between those smiles. So many bruises hidden in their clothes. You ask them, why don't you go and enjoy yourself? They say, oh, it's just something. Because once they open, you will see the wounds. You will see the blows. You will see the ashes that were pressed upon their body. Then you will know their story. And so they ask themselves, if you know my story, what will you do about it? Will you help me get out of this monster's grip? Or will you be the person who will add more pain to injury? Because in this time that we're living in, people are so good at pressing others down. People are very good at crushing others. In this time of technology, you make one lapse of judgment, you say one wrong thing, there's a camera, there's a CCTV, and eventually it becomes an identity plastered about you. Now you become a meme. Now you become the new views of many content creators. It was a lapse of judgment, or you're in the wrong place, the wrong time. And sadly, no one gets to hear your story because there's a floodgates of lies and deception and propaganda running all around. Your voice is silenced. You grew up in a family whereby either both or a parent pushed you down, called you nicknames, told you will never be this, you will never be that. Those words echo every day you sleep and you wake up. And to sadly, some take the bait. Others, they entangle themselves from all those words and they move. Eventually, they become estranged to the same parents who brought them into the world, not because they're bitter, but because they've learned one thing. If the parents are not willing to change, why take the risk? And sometimes it's safe to keep a distance than get too close to the volcano because you never know when it will erupt. And that's the soul story of many people. Doesn't matter their gender. Everyone, most people are going through very tough times. You wake up today, you're just minding your own business. Next thing you know, because of impunity, because of lawlessness, you become a victim. Something happens to you or to your loved one. You air your issues, you speak up, you're told keep quiet. A religious leader takes advantage of someone because they're in a place of power, takes advantage of the young ones. Someone speaks up. When they do, they are called names. They are shunned upon. Even their houses are burnt down. They're isolated. And then decades and decades later, the same issue this one person raised now comes out. Now everybody is like, oh, wow, wow. The damage that has been left is for many years. A student reaches out to their family and tells them, there's a teacher. They are doing ABCD without my consent. They have made me do ABCD without my consent. The parent says, you're one of those children. You just like attention. And so they keep that child into silence. The perpetrator shakes hands with the parent. Oh, the parent doesn't understand why does the grade of my child keep getting bad by the day. But because their ego is too big for them to be humble enough to listen to their own, they better listen to the teacher. Eventually, the teacher gets too close, way too close to the student, and tells them, you see, no one's going to believe you, not your parents, not the community. I am a person in power. I can get away with anything. And so that becomes a scar left for a child. They grow to be adults, the scar leaves. Then one day, one case blows up. Now everybody says, but someone told them. Guess what? The person who was once silenced is far away, moved on, even denounced the environment or the family they once were, because nobody listened to them. And so many are the scars of many. But one thing you should always know, those scars don't define you. You stand up and you represent. You stand up and you speak. You see, the moment you entangle yourself in something that has been there, a web of lies, everybody is going to come after you. You'll be attacked from the left and from the right. You'll be called names. You'll be bullied. You'll be kicked. For me to speak here, don't speak here because I stood up one day and became confident. Nope. Beaten, kicked, humiliated, shot, locked up, name them. Called nicknames. But I still stood up and entangled myself in everything that was told. I was told, oh, you're mean, oh, you're this, oh, you're that. I've been told all those words. I even took the extreme. I decided maybe I'm not for this world. But I'm still here. The thing is, you will push through. You will get out of that. Remember, aeroplanes are tested with how the storms that they find up there, the equipment, the technology that builds up those aeroplanes will be tested once it's in the air. That ship will be tested once it's in the seas, the strong waves. That's when we know how strong is this ship. That car will be tested with those bumps, with those rough roads. In this life, we will all be tested. And the test never ends. It just moves up a higher notch. It's in that moment of testing that we are refined. Being refined is not easy. A layer has to come out so that we can be able to come out pure and ready. And when that happens, it can get physical, spiritual, mental, emotional. It drains, it hurts, you bleed, you cry, you shed tears, you're alone, you're isolated. You've been given all these nicknames, you don't know where to turn. But again, there's hope. There's hope because even when you're being crushed, it's because there's something strong. Why would they use all that strength if there's not something special about you? Why would they use that level of silencing if you're not the one speaking the truth? Because even for the soil to be able to give us good crops, it has to be broken. For us to be able to receive rain, the clouds need to be broken. There's a level of brokenness that has to happen for something pure to be able to come out. But it's never easy. Before the soil breaks, if you farmed and you've tilled the land, you understand how hard it is to break the soil. The work you have to put by the time that soil breaks. By the time it breaks, by the time they rain everything, it's not easy. But just like a tree or just like any crop, it needs water, constant, until eventually it germinates, where there becomes a crop, where there's a tree. And at the end of the day, something beautiful comes out of it. It's never going to be easy, but you'll push through like a woman in labor ward until all the pain she has to go through, everything she goes through until that moment she sees her child. Then she says, here is my gift. But the pain she has endured for 9 months, the words she's had, the nicknames people have given her, the partners who have shamed them and tell them you're not as beautiful as you were in the beginning, the family members, everybody trying to play that I know how you can raise better. But once she's able to push and see her little child, nothing matters. She has a little child. She's done it. And that's how life is. We will be broken. We will be kicked. We will be called names. We will be attacked. We will run. But at the end of the day, our stories will never be forgotten. Why? Because we won't stop talking about it. Freedom doesn't come on a silver platter. Hope doesn't come in a silver platter. It is fought for. You stand up. You look. You outshine. You stand up, you ask yourself questions, you strategize. There is hope. And everywhere there's hope, there's a battle. The question is, will you be the one to run away from the battle, or will you face it head on, whatever level it is of battle that you're facing? I believe you'll pull through, because every day that you wake up is one step away from those negative words you were once told. You wake up because there's hope. So let hope keep you going. Let hope keep you shining. And when all said and done, you will come through. That's the life of a warrior, victorious to the very end.